Chairman, I'd like to just welcome all the contributors, and sorry I had to step out for a couple of them. Just a few things. Orla, first of all, in relation to the Arts Council, and I know obviously the great work that's done, and in my own area of Galway, obviously the very important funding for the arts festivals and in Galway and in Clifton, and the knock-on effects that it has. And I'm sure you'll say there's never enough money. You'd never refuse any amount. But how many new demands are there that you cannot fund or that you don't fund in the level that you would wish, and I would presume they haven't actually dropped during the period of the recession, because there's obviously the creative industry goes on regardless. Cathal, and sorry I missed your presentation, but just looking through the briefing, you mentioned the Broadcasting Act and that the 3% figure. Presumably, you'll be arguing that that would have a huge impact on exporting of these new productions. If that budget was increased, that would have huge potential for exports to other countries. And I suppose just what sort of potential growth can you see in that area in terms of what sort of increase in that budget would you like to see, for example? And then whoever else would like to comment, just in relation to, are you happy with and I know that the Worth of Belly firm too, but are you happy in relation to universities that they're framing courses geared towards the sectors that you want them to? Do you think there's better potential there for creating structures in line with industry demands? Just anyone that would like to take that.
Fine. And Ms. McBride?
Just on the resources. We recently announced, as part of Ireland 2016, we recently announced a National Commissions competition, and we indicated to artists and arts organisations that we were putting 1 million into that, and we were looking for projects of up to €500,000. We received 28 million euros worth of applications for 1 million available. So I think that's the most recent round that we're just going through at the moment. About 1 in 10 artists who applied to the Arts Council looking for a bursary or a commission or a small grant to pursue a piece of work, about 1 in 10 of them are funded, particularly in the visual arts and literature. We're at the moment going through theatre projects, so those will be many of the projects that you would see, the piece of theatre that you would see on the stage of the Galway, at Galway Arts Festival, or that Brendan would bring up to Clifton. And we have about €500,000 in that round, and we had 3.5 million euros worth of applications. So it is. It can be soul destroying at times, and then I'm sure as elected representatives you then receive the rep on the other side, which is we didn't get funded by the Arts Council. So it's a very, it's a very difficult scenario, I suppose, to manage your way through, because the expectation is huge, and the more artists and the more third level colleges exist, and so the more visual artists that are coming out, the more MFAs, the more creative writing, etc., the more people are coming out into the sector, and yet we can't respond. But I cited earlier, 17.5 million was the contribution of the Galway Arts Festival to the local economy last year. In 2008, they were contributing 24.5 million to the local economy. So they would say that there's been a disproportionate impact on the local economy by virtue of the fact that they've had to take even quite a small, they've gone from about 750,000, 800,000 down to just shy of €500,000 from Arts Council funding. So the more you invest, the greater the impact has on the economy disproportionately. So it's not if you can work it out. So I would say, that the demand is huge, and the expectation is huge, and the more that we create kind of an ecology whereby third level colleges are contributing to the creation of artists and creative entrepreneurs, the more then on the other side of the food chain that the Arts Council can't but should be able to respond better to those artists.
Thank you, Ms. McBride. Mr. Gaffney?
Yeah, so in relation to your question, as a parent and licence fee payer, I feel very disappointed in the mandate that RTÉ have for public service broadcasting. They don't deliver on that to the extent of children, as we had mentioned. So the question really is framed around economics. If they spent more money on the domestic market, which currently it's less than 3%, and we've got 25% of the population are children, or young people under the age of 16, if we went to 10, if we went to 15, we would create a stronger domestic economy. We would have more organic studios growing up, producing work for a local market, and that's what you have in every country. The question asked earlier on, why do we have, why aren't we the number one producer in the world? Well, the Canadian broadcasters, the British broadcasters, the French broadcasters, they all support a local animation industry, and in Ireland we don't have that because we don't have enough homegrown programs. We import programs, and it's quite frankly not good enough. I would like to see that increase substantially, and I think having a strong domestic industry will be really important for the ongoing growth of the sector. And I think if you have that in parallel with foreign direct investment, you're really going to put steroids into the whole animation sector and make it a global hub.
Mr. Phelan.
Sorry, just to add to that with Cathal, I think what we'd recognise is that RTE are under constraints, but they do a lot of good work, so the mandate may need to change. And if we can assist them in that through Animation Ireland, we obviously would love to sit down with them and help them with that.